morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Hot Topics, where we discuss, inform, and debate trending topics of the day. No topic is taboo, and thank you for listening. Today, our hosts are
Psycho 4081,
Felonious Fatter,
and we are welcoming our guest.
Dragonfly Jones, aka Demetri Ward.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Demetri. Our topic today is poly relationships. That's what we're calling it today. Poly relationships.
Okay. So we didn't get our guest speaker in, but we do have a guest with the three hosts today, and we're going to go over the entire kit and caboodle of poly.
Yeah, I don't see
that's
that.
my favorite topic.
Yeah, that's why she's her favorite topic. Okay. So one of the things, let me throw this out here. One of the things that I don't like is when people say poly. Seems like the people who are polyamorous tries to own that, and we're going to talk about the differences in the categories
the different
of poly,
polys. Yes. Right?
So, are you familiar with poly? Most people.
Well, from my study, it says poly.
We didn't ask you for your
wait,
study.
whatever. It's like three main branches of poly. The three main, but I've never even heard of the last one before. It says polygamy. I mean, that's polygyny, polyandry, and polygynandry. Have you heard of that before?
Trust me, folks. She's actually speaking English. I know you don't know, but so let's go over it this way. So basically, when you say poly, that means many people in your relationship dynamics, right? Mm-hmm. And the key thing is you're talking about relationships. Yeah. You're not saying that somebody who goes around just having sex, whatever, all these different people. That's not poly. And it's not poly if
that's
people,
a hoe.
Exactly. It's like, back in the day they called that, even the poly, some of the poly, they called it whoring.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the thing is, everybody has to know about it. It has to be a consensual thing. So that's the difference. When you have a relationship, you can't have a relationship with one person don't know you in a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you talk about poly, there's many people involved, and you have polygamy. Okay. That involves marriage. So polygamy is a person with multiple spouses, right? Then under polygamy, you have polygyny, which is a man with multiple wives,
okay,
which is the more common. Then you have polyandry, which is a woman with multiple husbands.
Okay.
Yuck.
That exactly.
Oh my God.
Now it's yucky.
So the first one.
Now it's yucky.
Yeah.
So the first one pretty much is like, that's the multiple relationships.
All of them are multiple relationships.
But it's more
But
together.
there's no marriage.
No marriage?
So with polygamy, it involves marriage. That's the key. So under polygamy, there's polyandry. And
the man.
No, that's the woman.
That's the woman.
Polygyny is a man with multiple
okay.
wives. Okay.
But I said there's also one. I just told you third one.
I'm about to say that.
Okay.
I hope that wasn't the one you tried to pronounce.
Whatever.
You know what? No, you are not.
So then that's polygamy. And
again, really?
I'm sorry. That's a emergency breakthrough. So anyway, there's a polygyny and polyandry that involves marriage. Then there's polyamory.
That's not what I said. You see, I said polygyny andry, like poly.
What is that?
That's what I said. I just found. That's what I'm saying. I just found it. It's called group marriage. A group.
Yeah, that's and that's actually under. You can explain that too, but I believe that's under the polyamorous category. So polyamorous is basically it doesn't require marriage, right? So that means, like, just to give you an example, I have a girlfriend, and my girlfriend has a relationship with another man, or woman, or whatever, right? And I know about it, and it's accepted. We accept that.
Okay.
I might have a relationship with another woman as a relationship, not just me going out. It's not like swingers and all that other type stuff. So that's another dynamic of polyamory.
Okay.
Which doesn't require marriage, right?
So
that's going to
Crickets is going to go all night. Crickets is going to go on my end all night. I'm gonna let you know.
I'm just trying to get the breakdowns together.
Me too.
It's a lot.
Me too. It's a lot.
So
it is. No, this is my question though. Remember we did the podcast about committed, non-committed. How is that?
Well, poly generally is adultery. That's for me.
Adultery? No.
Well, if it's polyamorous, then nobody's married in that situation.
Well, polyamory, you can be married, but you don't. It's not a requirement.
Okay.
Right. So going back to what you said. You said something earlier about the being committed.
Right. Like going back
Okay.
to that is
So
when it's polyamorous. Polyamorous is people having several relationships.
or multiple. It could be-
Multiple
yeah.
with different people,
Right.
but everybody knows about it. So how is that different than when we were talking about committed, not committed?
So if in polyamory, there's an understanding. Okay, so there's an understanding that I'm in a relationship with this person. Even let's say you and I are married, and there's an understanding and an acceptance. You
That
and
this
I,
is what's happening.
right? That I have a relationship. I have a girlfriend. I'm not talking about just somebody that I, had today and have somebody the next day, whatever. And sometimes people carry it on. And actually, there's way more categories of poly
Don't confuse me.
that is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Done deal on my side.
Right.
Yeah, like don't confuse me.
Okay, so it could be different dynamics. It could be two married couples. It could be group. It could be
How is that not swinging?
because there's and swinging is basically sex. This is
Okay.
This is relationships.
Okay.
And it's committed typically.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And there's understanding. So swinging is a whole different ball game. That's just people getting their
Freak
fulfilling
on.
fulfilling their carnal desires,
Okay.
basically. So that's basically in a nutshell.
Okay.
So we would say, what would you think is the most common form of polygamy?
Polygamy.
Okay. What be more specific?
A husband with multiple wives.
So that's polygyny.
And I think part of that is the women outnumber men.
That's
A
a
lot.
factor. That is a
Yeah.
factor. Yes. So we asked the question on social media. Do you approve or support poly relationships? And it was a reel we did on Facebook that Felonious Feather did actually, and we'll say what some of those responses are and go with that. But we do have a special guest.
Not again.
Yeah, called in.
I thought the blacks know poly, but I know poly. Say hello to my little Asian friend, Lamb Chop, and my illegal alien Felonious Feather.
Oh,
You
gee.
just had
All right, we have a friend that came in. So
Okay, that is the last one of those we're doing.
hey, we can't keep
Yes, we can. Yes, we
Don.
can. Yes, we can.
He knew us. I can see him saying that. But
Yes, yes. Yeah, we gonna stop doing that because he going to jail. He's not going to jail, but that's
the
not
fix
what
is
we're
in.
talking about
Well, okay, I
today.
got it.
So that's where I'm gonna go.
So when we talk about, we'll talk about the different ones, right? So we're going with the most popular is polygyny, right? And that has roots basically since the beginning of time. People
Right.
have been polygynous.
Well, and women were property, and you were given to your husband or the
Are.
person who was gonna take
Are, not were.
are
coming
given.
coming from somebody that doesn't speak English.
Our property.
Okay, I'm just gonna let that slide. I'm just gonna let that go because that's a whole nother discussion.
Okay, so polygyny has its roots in almost every part of the world. Is in the beginning. You can look in the Bible. There's polygyny. You can look in ancient cultures of Africa, China, Europe. I don't know so much about the Americas as far as the Native Americans. I'm not sure about that because I didn't really look into that part. But it's ancient. It's an ancient practice. And then they have these different ways of saying, well, why do we have that, or how that developed in the history of humans.
Right.
That's a nice topic too. So you have that, and it is still practiced today.
Oh yeah. There's Sister
Legally.
Wives and all kind of wonderful television shows that are very popular, it seems.
Yeah, Felonious. But weren't you a sister wife, Felonious?
To who, you?
Yeah.
So what did you, we have somebody who did her research. First of all, let's ask you this. Let's
not research.
So we already know where it came from. We'll talk about the different types and stuff like that. So based on what your knowledge of now, your knowledge of polygamy, poly relationships, all that, polyamorous, polygyny, polygamy, polyandry, felonious, are you for or against poly relationships?
I'll only be for if it's because I know guys or men generally are for polygyny, right? That's what it's called, right?
Polygyny, yes.
So me, then if I'm gonna be for any poly, it's gonna definitely be polyandry.
Okay. Okay.
But generally, I'm not really in support of any poly. And yeah, so either polyandry or no poly.
So you're saying you do support poly relationships
No.
only polyandry.
Yes.
That means if you would accept it for yourself, right?
You would have
Accept
multiple husbands.
multiple
Yeah.
husbands. Okay.
But no, I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm not a fan of the poly lifestyle
Okay.
Because-
for yourself.
for myself. Yes.
Okay.
Do I give reasons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously.
Of course. Yeah, because I just feel like it's a way for men to legally be with to be with more than one woman. Like they're not satisfied with one woman, so it's like they just want to commit adultery. So they be like legally commit adultery. You get what I'm saying? It's mostly for me. I feel like it's mostly
It's
about
safely a safe way to commit adultery.
You get what I'm saying? So it's mostly about what is in between. They want to cheat, but then they want it to be legal. You get what I'm saying? I think that's what it is for me. And that's why but then if you ask the same guys about polyandry and be like, oh, you see, they never agree and they've never want a woman to have more than one.
More
one
husbands.
husband. You understand? I'm like, no. Why would 3 men or 2 dudes be? Why would a woman be controlling 2 guys? You get what I'm saying? But they are always for
Yes.
polyandry.
So
polygyny.
So you're saying it's a double standard.
Yeah.
It's always a double
Yeah,
standard.
and you know what? It should be.
Why?
No, sir. No, all jokes aside, it should be a double standard. We're not the same. We're not built the same.
That's what you say. That's what you keep saying.
And I'm gonna tell a story about that. But so just for the record, you're for
Against. Okay, I'm for. I could be. I could.
You could be. for you.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm against poly. Generally.
Okay, so outside of you, we're not talking about you personally. Are you for or against poly?
Against.
So you said nobody else should have those type of relationships either.
Well, I ideally, I don't know.
So and it's based on what?
Based on the fact that I'm a woman. Okay, but maybe because I don't see the advantages.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about the advantages too later on down. Okay, so that's your stance for now until we get into our discussion.
Or maybe because I feel like it only mostly benefits the man. That's why I'm against it.
So the selfishness of women comes out again.
Whatever.
Boy, here we go.
Okay. All right, Lamb Chop, what about you?
I'm kind of a hippie, and I feel like if you are able to do it and you're comfortable with it, knock yourself out.
Okay.
But everybody, like you said, have to be in agreement. It has to be okay with everybody. No one can be forced into it. Personally, I can't manage the 2 people I have in this relationship right now, so I'm not sure if I could manage 3 other women's emotions or 3 other men's emotions, or like I cannot like you on any given day. Yeah, it just seems like a lot to me, and a lot of emotional investment that I don't know I have the energy for.
Okay. Meat.
And not to get away off like outside spread of this whole subject, I kind of agree with her, because the fact that if you go back to all the way to the fort.
Hold up.
What?
Fork over your man card.
You know what?
Well,
Because
it's
he
his
agreed
opinion.
with, because it was a logical explanation.
Fork over your man card.
Reason why I said it, I agree. Of course, I will agree with it, but you go back to the 1400s and the Roman times and stuff. They had this stuff going on.
Right. Oh,
It's not
absolutely.
like- it's not like
it's not new. Is what you're saying.
I know there's too much history going back, but I'm just saying, like, it's been here on this earth, so it's not. I don't want to say it's not new, but it's maybe to this generation things going on. You know, people don't take it like that, but it's been there.
It's always been around, right?
It's been here, so yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah. Why you change it? Well, you said you agree with her, but then now you're saying yeah. So
Well, which
because
part
he
did
said
you agree with her?
Well,
yeah.
I had to snatch my man card.
He just threw me out. He just threw me out.
but because it's been here, so it's not like.
Yo, personally, what do you think?
So
Right.
you were agreeing with her as far as like how she said, if long as nobody's heard, everybody's
in
agrees,
agreement,
all that
right.
type of stuff. But now that's good. So you're for it. So that's I don't know if that's either for or against, but it's more or less.
That's being
Yeah.
safe.
Okay.
It's being
Yeah.
safe.
So for you personally,
Now, if I'm gonna go personally, you go to man card snatchback.
man.
No.
Of course, it's gonna be. What is
Don't
it?
let psycho
Yeah,
bully
yeah,
you to say
yeah,
what,
don't
no,
let him
no,
bully you.
No,
no.
you can speak.
Do
honestly.
you? Do
No,
you?
I mean, I'm a man though, so
It doesn't matter.
he's right. And like I gotta, think, how I'm gonna really think behind closed doors.
Right.
And the man's part, which is it?
A man with multiple wives
Polyan-
is
poly-
Yeah, that
polygyny.
one.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's a
So
lot
I
of
mean,
poly.
then, yeah, and like I said, it's been around.
right.
So yes,
Right. So if you had the
personal,
opportunity,
my personal, yes.
okay,
Opinion,
okay.
okay.
So
Oh, we all know it. You don't have to say yours.
Wait,
We know.
wait,
We know what it is. So
Well,
we don't
yeah,
know
we know what
it is.
we know
so-
what.
well, it's just.
Yeah.
But
I say it because and I'm not speaking for all manhood. I'm speaking for myself on that tip, because I had to think about what he said, like my personal, and not what the world.
Right.
I'm comfortable with it because it's been around.
Yes.
You know.
So the key is, we're talking about personal. You're comfortable with it. That's whatever.
Yeah, my
So
personal-
if you had the opportunity to get into a polygynous relationship, you can take more than one wife. Would you do it?
Every man's
Honestly,
answer on that is
don't
yes.
say, well, would you
Come
do
on.
it? Okay, well,
Yes. Yeah.
you would. Why do you think you'll do it?
Okay.
You ain't got to give it the
No,
pressure.
no.
Yes,
Why
he
would you-
does.
Why
Yes,
would you
he
do
does.
it? You
I
said,
would
yeah,
do
you'll
it.
do it. I
I-
want to hear why.
I would do it because, you know how some people say, oh, some guys might be like, man, I can't have more than one woman, which I believe is dominantly false. What's better than one wife? Multiple.
Yeah, so
You
why
know,
would you do it? Okay.
Because
Because of my need. Because for
Your
me,
needs. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
It's,
here-
it
But
goes
he said multiple, because what's better than one wife? Two wives.
two wives. Why? Because of your needs. What needs?
well, personal. That's getting back to the personal. And getting away from the world. And my needs is like, this woman could cook.
Based on
That-
your
that-
personal. That's the point.
This
Based on
woman- this-
personal reasons.
Yeah.
That's what, like, things.
That's what he's saying.
That's
That's what I'm talking
what I'm saying. Advantageous to him.
Yes, that's
So
why he
selfishness.
said it's not selfish, but he's talking about why he would, if he could do it. He's telling about why he would do it.
Why I would do it.
So you agree with polygyny now?
You're just
how
trying
do
to make him agree.
I'm not- I just, I didn't say anything. Okay. But you said polygyny. You agree with, obviously, for the advantages for you.
Yeah.
What about polyandry? Would you have a wife that had another husband?
Well, no, would you?
Oh,
would you
that
yeah,
face.
exactly.
Oh, I wish
would you
they
be the
could see his
husband to
face.
somebody that has a husband?
Okay, Hannah, how about you?
No. wait. No. You answer.
See,
Would you have somebody else?
Nah.
Okay. Now
exactly.
Because
Because
And why?
Because
And
it is
why?
not advantageous to you. Because
why? No, it's still advantages.
why? Because to him, personality.
Because another man's fulfilling her need.
But okay,
on a
let's
different
back
on a
up.
different, you know what I mean? So it's like that all gets back to the personal.
And it gets back to the double standard because you're
Exactly.
asking for
You
women
see?
to fulfill all of
That's
your
what I'm saying. That's
different
the same-
women to fulfill different needs for you.
For me.
But you're
Yes,
saying
that's why I
that
said it's
your
selfish.
wife
Exactly.
can't have different men to fulfill needs for
Okay,
her.
so-
Exactly.
How
That's why I
about-
said selfish reasons.
It's not. Hey, listen.
Whatever.
Y'all told me to be,
Be honest.
y'all told me to be honest now.
Be honest. Yeah, absolutely.
Polyamory.
Stop looking for someone to come on your side.
No,
Stop
I don't-
looking.
This is not about me. I know what I like.
Your
I
preference,
know what
yeah,
I
we know.
gotta,
Yeah,
I'm
because
strong
you're
with
up
that.
next. You're up next. All of your
I
answers
mean,
are
if
up
you ask
next.
any man, your personal,
Not all men, though.
Reason-
Not all men.
not all men, but the good
Majority.
50% of
Well, that's
of-
how-
of
that's
the
how-
other half is going to say that.
Say 75, 85%.
I was being nice, but yeah.
Oh.
But I mean,
And the 15% is how you say your peoples.
Oh my gosh. Stop it. You are not
But-
going to talk about my tribe, man.
but that just goes back to it was already on this earth going on.
Okay, so if you could do what? So what's stopping
So-
you from doing it?
The American way. It's not the American way. I mean, I'm just.
Okay, let's go to the expert.
Yeah,
Mr.
because
psycho.
yeah.
Wait, we gotta.
For-
we wanna-
no. I want to
Wait,
hear.
hold on. No. We're not finished with him.
Okay.
So you said no to yes to polygyny, no to polyandry.
Mm-hmm.
What about polyamory? Where you have
Relationships.
where it could be, you and your girlfriend.
Now we're talking.
Okay,
Yes.
so you would allow your girlfriend or wife to have another girlfriend or boyfriend, and while you had a girlfriend or boyfriend.
You know why?
Okay, why?
Because now that's taking the idea off pressure off my head of man fulfilling her needs, when
okay.
I got other woman fulfilling my needs.
Okay.
You know.
So her false accusation of you being selfish is off the table then, because you obviously said
I agree
that.
with polyamory.
Okay. You agree with polyamory?
No, I'm saying he.
He does. So you're pro polyamory and pro polygyny. What would you, if you had the option, what would you rather have, polyamory or
Polygyny.
Polygyny.
Right.
You don't say the word. I
You
can't
love
say.
me.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, run it by me one
Listeners
more time.
know
The
what
one
you're
with the
talking about.
relationships.
Which one would you rather have, polygyny
With
two
marriage.
wives, or
Or
would you have
multiple. What do you mean two?
Yeah, it could be
You
multiple.
could be 3, 4, 5, whatever. But would you have that, or would you have the polyamory?
With the relationships,
with the-
relationships,
Yeah.
Without marriage.
polyamory.
And that's the one.
So,
So as long as I've known Psycho,
Mm-hmm.
which what did we say, 19 years or 20
Yes.
years, something like that, he has always talked
Been
about
for-
a
exactly.
poly relationship.
And that's how I met him too.
Yes,
Because
always.
that was our first conversation.
you're right.
So, Psycho, let's hear your
So
take.
wait a minute, just to think. Let me go
Oh,
back
I'm
to
sorry.
her.
Who's
Background.
So just to go back. So when I met Felonious Feather, right? I went in there, to talk to the owner of the business, and he and I chit chat about certain things, and that subject popped up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you ever talk about stuff like that, you always draw other people in and say, hey, what do you think? So you get people on your side or somebody to dissent or whatever. So that's how she and I first met. So, all right, getting back to me, like obviously, as you see, I have been pro polygyny for, I could tell you this, it's been since probably 2001. I think somewhere around there, maybe a little bit earlier. So the reason why I came to that is because I took a class in cultural anthropology, right? Before that, I didn't know anything about it. You saw the different like stuff on movies and stuff like that. It was like, oh my God, why would you want to have more than one of those? That type of deal. But when I got into the cultural anthropology, and it all it talks about the history of man, the development of humans, and it put it in perspective, put it in really clear perspective, like how we developed to how we are today. So, I always thought it was the natural way, polygyny. Men have always had multiple wives or multiple mates, right?
Right.
So, and I looked at how things are here in the United States and how things were in other places, and I thought, what, if we had kept, stuck to what we feel, what I feel is natural, then we would have less problems today, right? So,
you're gonna have to come back and explain.
I'll play. Okay, so, all right. So, I'm pro polygyny.
Imagine that.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to that. So, polyandry, not happening.
So she can't have more. She can't have husbands.
And this is my personal thing. I would never do that. I would never have a wife with another husband. You don't have two farmers. No, you don't have two farmers sowing the same field. That ain't gonna happen. So it's not selfish. It's natural. It's natural order. So polyamory, I don't see a purpose in that. I don't see a purpose in that. I think if you're going to deal with multiple people on that level, I just, and there's benefit. I'm not gonna lie. There's benefits to that. It's just something that I would not do. Because I just remember we talked about that. We had a conversation about the male ego.
Yes,
that plays a part in that as well. I'm not trying to see nobody else, sow seeds in my field.
Okay.
Right? Because that will change me. Even if I thought it was fair, it would change me psychologically. Something that I wouldn't be able to control. Okay. Right? So
it's about control.
No, I'm saying controlling like how I feel.
Okay.
Right? If I can control how I felt, which I don't think most people can.
Right.
I think you just, but I don't mind. I mean, if like other people, they want to do it, have at it. I don't have no issues with that. I just think there's no point to that except for satisfying. No, I'm gonna take that back. I was gonna say satisfying physical needs, but you can have that type of situation, and the person satisfy some other needs, like
right. Like he said, one can be doing the laundry, one could be doing the cooking, one could be doing
that's what I'm saying. It's just always for selfish.
I'm talking about other. I'm not talking about physical like tasks and stuff like that, because many people, I say light hands. I mean, like
yes,
many hands
right?
But I'm talking about like
work. Yes.
When like say for example, like as a single guy, right? I might have 3 female friends, right? I might have I joke with her, so she might satisfy my, part of my needs for that type of relationship.
Okay.
Right? You and I might talk and have these deep political conversations and talk about books and this and that. So you might satisfy that part, right?
Okay.
And I wouldn't have it with her because she can't read English.
Oh, jeez.
So, but that's how it goes. And you just have that in the physical part. You might have somebody who does things better or differently. I won't say differently. I won't say better, differently than whatever. But polygyny, for when I look at it, I don't look at the sex part. Sex part plays a part in it, but I don't look at it that way because. And I'm gonna tell you this: as a single man, if it was about sex, you can be single and still have multiple partners,
right?
Without the responsibilities, without the commitment, without the headaches, you can just have.
There'll be headaches.
No, it's not.
If it's multiple in that rotation,
it's like it's gonna be that easy.
No, it's not. There's no headaches. There's no headaches because as long as you're honest. Because the thing is, it's like saying this, right? Being single, just. Theoretically speaking, let's say
nobody single is honest with.
No, I'm saying no. You are single people.
Hey, I have another girlfriend, and I have.
Guess what? It works. Let me tell you, and I'm gonna tell you why I know.
When it's not like I have a wife, like it's not like
well then you're not single.
Well, you got a wife.
But look, hear me out. So when you're single, you can have people come in, even if you didn't want to be honest. You could say, well, you got to go because my girl's coming. And you tell the other one, yeah, you got to go because my girl's coming. So they thinking that the other person's a girl and they're going to avoid each other. You can do stuff like that. And people have done it. I was in the Navy. I know. Okay. So the thing is, you can have, when you get into an argument and, you can say, well, you know what? I need you to go home.
Okay.
Right? I don't have to answer the phone. I don't have to do nothing. That's how the single life is. And you can have multiple people that you're dealing with. And if you don't want to deal with them anymore, you just say, you know what? I'm done with you. Don't call my house. I won't call you. Da 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 da. But when you're married, you stuck.
Pretty much.
You're responsible for them financially. You're responsible for them physically, emotionally, everything. So it's different. So when a man takes on that type of responsibility, it's a lot. It's a commitment. That's one. You is a responsibility. You have to be responsible for them or with them. Right. So when, if you compare, it's more benefit to being single and just be out there than it is to be in a relationship, in a marriage with multiple women. So if you're going to take on something with multiple women, one, there's way more honor in that, because you're not just out there just giving away for free and being, whatever. If you're a religious person, especially, right? So you have protection, you have, a commitment, you have somebody who's going to be responsible for you. Let's say we're talking about credit cards. Let's say if you got a credit card, your credit card is my credit card. If you mess up, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? You have somebody who's responsible for you and to you. You also have that thing where, you have to, split the time. You guys treat them fairly. And when I say fairly, it's not equal. Nobody gets treated equal, because that's not fair. You get me?
Nope, I do not.
So okay,
I don't get that.
So let's say you're 4'11", right?
Oh my God.
And she's 4'12". Right?
2'1".
So you're taller than her. So let's say if I came, no, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, just fix
Tracy,
it.
you like let's say you like flowers.
Okay.
You like flowers. You like candy.
No,
right?
I don't.
Well, whatever. You like she like crickets. Right? So, if I come home and I want to make my women happy, right? I'm not gonna come home and give you both roses, because that's fulfilling your desires, right?
Okay.
She don't care about that, right?
Okay.
And it's the same thing even with men. Like, if I had both of you and you wanted to give me something, and you say, well, we gonna treat them the same. You're gonna give me
something from Temu.
It is his favorite place lately.
So she's gonna give me something from Temu, and you're gonna get me something from Nordstrom's with this brand name, whatever. And you know me, I don't care about stuff like that.
Right.
So so treating somebody equal is not treating them fairly.
That's
right?
true.
You get me?
I know, because I think that's fair. Because
But that's for
that's
men.
what you like.
But then let me tell you something about women, though. So let's say, like you said, give her flowers and give me crickets. But then I'm still gonna be envious. Like, oh, I know, I don't like roses or flowers, but then I know flowers are like a sign of love. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and affection towards
you understand
me.
what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a kind of affection towards even women in general. I'm like, oh, and you're giving that to her.
Okay,
Is that
so
saying something? Even though I'm gonna I know I like crickets, but I'm like, but that's flowers too.
But it's different. I just use that as an example. It could be a watch, right? I can give her a Movado watch, if that's still a thing. Okay,
Apple
a Movado
watch.
And I might give you a necklace that you like, something that you love, and something that you love. It's not the same thing. It might even be the same value. You get me? So the point is, everybody is different. Even my interactions with you might be different. So I might come in and say to you, like, oh, you cooking? You ain't burned down the house yet? Whatever. Because that's the dynamic you and I might have. Now, she might not dig with that, right? So I might say to her, hey, you know what? I like your hair. And did you see what happened on the news? Blah, blah, blah. So our dynamics are different. So I'm going to treat you different because you're different. Right. Right.
But what I think Felonious is saying, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Don't make me fight you. I brought my knife today.
Did you?
That women sometimes, no matter what you do for them, will feel a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like she's getting more attention than I'm getting.
You understand? No matter what you do, even if it's something I like, but it's different from what you have. You get what I'm saying?
But the thing is, we're not talking about how you individually feel. I'm talking about as a man that has multiple wives. The point was, you're treating them different. We're talking about different and equal. Giving somebody the same thing is not being fair.
What I'm saying is it's going to be a problem too.
We're not there yet. We're talking about how a person, like how a man would actually handle being fair versus being equal. Okay. Equal is not good. In any aspect is not good.
That's what I'm saying. Fair to you, but not fair to us, to the women. You're getting it.
I don't think. No. You're not getting me, because I'm saying let's go away from the marriage part.
Okay.
Right. Let's talk about society. Right. So if you have a segment of society, let's say the blacks, right? And they're struggling, their history, whatever, and you decide to give them, reparations or whatever.
Right.
Right. But you might have the rural farmers. You might give them, something a policy or change that actually help them farming. You're not giving them the same thing, but you're being fair because their situations are different. You get me?
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. You can't factor in everybody's personality. I'm just saying, generally speaking, don't treat everybody the same. You treat them fairly. And fair and the same is not, not good. I want to treat you fairly. Okay. Not equal, because we're all different.
Can I say something to piggyback off with something you said earlier? This was my point about the whole agreeing with the wives part, the first one, is because don't you think that's more better? Because when we have a bunch of, when y'all have, you have multiple husbands and then multiple relationships, marriage, whatever, and I have multiple relationships with wives. Another reason why I say it is the personalities you deal with. You deal with one woman for years. You get tired of each other. You deal with friends for years. Sometimes you might not want to be around that regular friend, your guy friends or whatever. It's the personalities you chip through. So if you have multiple wives, like you spend time with her 1, 2, 3 days, y'all having fun. Okay, so you don't get tired. Then the next one, you know, and like you said, like different personalities, you have fun with each or whatever. That spreads that whole thing of getting tired of that person, or because a lot of if you notice, a lot of couples or marriages, they deal with the same person, and that guy, even though they love each other, they getting tired of that personality because that person might be boring. Whether it's the woman getting tired of the guy or the guy getting tired of the woman, they get boring. That's what causes towards cheating. What I'm saying is like the different personalities. Like you might have fun with Hannah and go, y'all 2 days. You might go to Baltimore clubs or whatever, and then Tracy, you go to the
keep going.
Go to the cat store, or y'all go go to the mountains or whatever, and then and whoever else, you know what I mean, like you ain't getting tired.
I say, well, I disagree with that.
Of the personalities.
You just have multiple personalities. Even if we us four work together, right?
Right.
You're still dealing with different people and different personalities, right? And you might say you and me might be cool and do this and that, whatever. She and I might be cool, and we might be arguing with Felonious feather. We might just be arguing, whatever. But it's not something that's going to be static. It's always going to be dynamic with anybody you have. I have never been in a relationship where that person just irked me all the time, and I've never been in a relationship where a person
was fun all the time.
Exactly. You expect that's human dynamics.
Well, I'm not talking about all the time, but a good you ain't gonna be like
bored.
Yeah, like you saying that y'all don't that person don't irk you all the time, but they're gonna irk you at sometimes.
Everybody's gonna irk you.
Yeah. So, but when you're going through different personality traits or different, like personalities with different women that you pick out you like or whatever that you're like accustomed to, you're gonna it helps. I can't explain. It's like almost like it helps.
I get you. You're saying like, all right, so you taking a break from one person and you get relief from the next one.
Yeah, because you're not like okay, she might want to like. Just
like I'm not going to go to the cat store 99 times a week.
Yeah, you might want to lay around the house, watch Netflix and chill and eat steak a lot. I might have fun with you doing that, and then she might like want to like
party
or go to the club and always like make me laugh. Then I'll go to that, have fun with that, and then this person, you know what I mean? Like,
I get you on that, but sometimes I think it's more like it's all about who you select anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that as a person who's doing polygyny, you're gonna have is much tougher than being single. So when people, and this is what I hear all the time, people say, "Well, you just want." You just want exactly. I'm like, nah. I can get that better and more often when you single, because one, you're gonna work harder. You don't want somebody talking about you.
Right.
One. So so it's different. So there's a lot when a man, and I'm only going by this polygyny, right? So there's a lot when a man says, you know what, I'm gonna take you, and you, and I'm gonna take all your troubles and I'm gonna make it mine. I'm gonna make all the risk and all the headaches that you're probably gonna give me. and I'm gonna make it mine, right? So it's a little that's a lot more difficult. And this is like I said, when you talk about marriage, that's should be a permanent thing, should be, right? So you should go into it that way. So it's not easy.
Wait, basically, I feel like maybe yours is different, but I feel like people that do polygyny, they always go into it with one woman first. Like they marry somebody, one person, and then it's like, oh, because I want multiple, I want somebody else. Okay, I don't want to cheat. Maybe they've been caught one time or two. Like, okay, you know what? Let me get this person. I want to marry. I like her so much. We've been dating, and I want to marry her. You get what I'm saying? So it usually starts with one person, and then
that's a cultural thing. So here's the thing: it may start with one person. Obviously, nobody wants. Well, some people have had it. They've had the double marriages or triple marriages at the same time, but that's just the thing. You start with one, and you actually go in there with the idea, or you accept that, hey, my husband's gonna is a possibility or a good possibility.
No, only religion, mostly like Muslims.
No. Muslims too, but even then, Muslims sometimes depends on where you are.
Right.
When you go into that, and you know, like as a man, I know I'm a practice polygyny. I'm gonna have multiple wives. The wife knows ahead of time that that's a possibility,
right.
And it's up to her to say, no, I don't think I'm gonna be a part of that. You get me? Mm-hmm. So, but there's different ways of doing it. There's different, aspects. Like, so you can do it because it's a tradition, like most African countries, that's what they had. Whether they do it now or not, usually because it's religious. We call it the religious tampering with the.
So what you saying, the Catholics has taken over and stopped?
Bingo.
That.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Right. So, and even with the Muslims, Islam was one of those was a religion that actually said, hey,
you can have multiple wives.
No.
Are you sure?
No, Muslims. This is what in Islam. They now mind you, the practice was already there. It wasn't nothing to say you can have. It was already there.
Right.
Islam said you can only have 4.
Okay.
So,
well, that's what I meant by multiple wives.
Okay, but it was the only religion that actually restricted
to the amount.
Number. Yes.
Okay.
So that's the difference. So I'm all for it because I think it's a natural way. I think it's biologically, genetically, it's how we're programmed, and we can get into. I can go deep into that.
I know you would go deep into that, but that's like caveman trying to procreate and have
Bingo.
as many people as many children as possible to keep the world going. So I get that part. Mm-hmm. I get that part.
So as far as the polyandry, obviously, I personally couldn't do that because it wouldn't sit well with me. Not just because. I'm not saying that you couldn't do it, and I just think it's just not natural, and I'm more into I think what is natural. If you did it, obviously that's your business. As long as nobody's getting hurt, and if you feel you want to do that, have at it. Take all them extra men. I don't care. I don't want them. So, and I definitely can't do. I'm not gonna say I can't do polyamory.
Well, you cannot definitely do.
Polyandry? Oh no, that's dead. That's dead. That ain't gonna happen, Okay. So yeah, but the polyamory, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. I would and again, it's this my time, the time of my life the stage of life I'm in now.
Okay.
I'm not into just the
randomness of it all.
Bingo. I need purpose. And I don't see any purpose in the rest of them. In a direction. Except I do see purpose in polyandry. I do see purpose in polygyny. I just think that polyandry, I think is not a natural thing. And I like to focus on what I believe is the natural order. Okay. So that's that. But you brought up a point about the culture. You said you get the one wife first, and then so typically that's what happens. Yeah. And the woman does know that there's a possibility that
not all the time.
Well, they have to, because in the laws that they have now, they have to make that clear. They have to make that clear.
What I'm saying is,
what if
I'm sure? I'm like, he's saying laws. Like,
yeah,
what
laws?
There's laws. So there, even let's say Africa, right? there's some countries that don't allow polygamy at all, right? They don't allow it, but they allow traditional, I would say customary marriages.
Okay.
So the customary marriage is basically how it customarily would be. If I want to marry 1, 2, 3 wives, I'm going to do it.
But you have to be able to afford these 3 wives.
Well, that's the common sense part, but that's not always a requirement. That's a common sense part. In the religious part, that's what they'll say. They said you have to, if you can handle the number, and that means financially and treat them the same as they say, but I mean it's fairly, then you can have it. But I'm not going on any the religious aspect for myself personally. I'm going on what I think is a natural order. Okay. Right. So that's the customary marriage, right? So you can do that, and then there's the court sanctioned marriage. Okay. So that one, if they say no, you can't marry one, you can't do it in the court, but you can go to the to the tribe or whatever, or the village, and have the person who oversees that area and say, well, yeah, we have a customary marriage, right?
Got it.
So that's different. Now, obviously, you and I are of the idea that if nobody's getting hurt, or maybe all 3,
if everybody's agreeing in agreement,
have at it, right? So, do you think that government should be in the business of marriage? Now, I asked this because I had a guy who I was talking to about some time ago, and that was what he said. This white guy, police officer. He says, and he says things so matter of factly, like, I don't think the government should be in the marriages. I'm like, okay. Ooh. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? I don't think they should either, except certain circumstances where when it comes to kids or close family members.
What do you mean? So cousins can't get married? Is that what you say?
No, I'm saying, like, I'm talking about the typical stuff, the brother, sister, father, daughter, that type of stuff, aunts, uncles, whatever. And even in the history of, and I wouldn't recommend cousins either, but most of the history of humans, cousins marriage. Right. That was not taboo, right, until later on
down the road.
Our timeline.
Yeah.
But the government should get
involved in that. That's hard to say whether the government should be involved, because part of it is like they're involved. So there's the license portion, and if you divorce, they're in it. That courts are in it if you divorce. So that's kind of hard. I mean, I don't feel like government shouldn't be in a lot of stuff. And I'm sure that those are some of the subjects we're going to talk about later down the road. Like, you shouldn't be able to tell me what to do with my body. Right. But that's another, that's another discussion down the road. But that's hard. That's very hard.
And even when you look at it in this aspect, right? Let's say you wanted to get married and they say, well, yeah, then there's so many things involved, but that's nothing but a contract. You write it out in a contract. Even if you standardize, you have a contract. And if they go to family law for everything else, so you hash it out that way.
So you're saying government should be out of it, and the couple or thruples or every men should have a written contract, lawyer signed, notarized. That's it, and you don't need the government in it.
And honestly, you probably could do that anyway. So the thing is, like, certain state laws, like Maryland says. I think theirs was like you can't enter even a ceremony.
Really?
So, yes. So you say, well, we're not going to go to court. We're going to do the ceremony, but not go to the court and get it.
Right,
whatever.
Right.
The way, if I can recall properly, they said no ceremony. So, but like I said, I don't think if 2 women wanted to marry each other, 2 men, 3, whatever you want to do, that the government should not be in it, as long as it is not a matter of children, it is not a matter of close relatives, or that's it.
If the government was involved, it'd be too many fast divorces.
Okay.
Because before the marriage get complete, because it's too much standard will be imprinted on that whole thing. Like that's the part I agree.
Okay, but why a lot of people
not agreeing with the government being involved
with it where they should.
Yeah.
So, but like, all right. So look at this. What prevents a lot of people from getting divorced?
Money.
And children.
Right? So when you have that dynamic, I think it's still the same. Nobody's going to get into a marriage and then like, you know what? I'm getting divorced next week. I'm gonna get this one, and then you have serial divorcees.
Yeah, my
Right?
uncle got married 5 times.
Yeah, so you had that.
But see, that's when I think the government should step in and be like, you did it 3 times. We're not giving you another license.
So somebody had the idea one time. They said that marriages, and this is not whether it be polygamous or whatever, or monogamous, that it should be like a license, like a driver's license, right? Where you get married and you have a license
5
for
years
5
and
years.
you
Right?
renew.
You want to renew or
Bingo, right?
yeah. No.
Right?
Wait, did you say we had somebody call in or no?
No, I couldn't get it. We had a guest call in, but we couldn't. I couldn't get in contact with him, so
You said, do you have a message? Somebody sent a message or recording? Or
On Facebook or
okay.
yeah.
So the social media thing. Okay.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a second. Now, so
Yeah, that made all the sense in the world.
read my lips. So, all right, we talked about the government, right? The government being in it or not, right? So that's a big hang up, like especially in Utah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I think is not fair.
Okay.
Okay, now this is get controversial.
why is everybody just even accepting? I said I'm not for, and you keep talking about it, keep going on and on and on and on about it.
Because we all agreed that whether we don't care if you accept it personally. That's up to you. But I'm saying as a group, we say, well, to each his own, right? Would
Yeah.
you say that too? So that's what we're saying. I'm not saying like even for me personally. I don't.
Because
I
you're
don't
just
care.
going like pro.
Okay, so
polygyny.
we're gonna, as a group, we're gonna talk about all the benefits and we're gonna talk about all the downfalls.
Exactly, that's what it should be. That's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
so now made me get off what I was about to say. What I'm about to say.
That's what happens when you get old. You don't remember things.
There we go.
I'm so happy that happened.
We talked about the government, and we was talking about something else that I was so rudely interrupted for.
Yeah.
So we'll go into. She cheated you guys, by the way, because I had something like really
Juicy.
powerful. So let's go into the benefits. I know Meat said he brought out some of from the benefits, right? You had people that could do different things,
Different.
satisfy.
Exactly. Like, one wife might be really good, or a gamer. You might like games and gaming and just talking about stuff. Then the other wife, she like going to the movies, she into that, and you're like, okay, cool with that. Then the other one, wife,
So you're having
she
more
likes the
than one?
club.
Oh my God. He's
Yeah.
having 2 or 3.
No, the prospect of different personalities.
Yeah.
It. My point was it could help
Keep the union together.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
So that's why I was kind of getting at with it, because it was like, I know if it sound like, oh well, because some people might think of, oh, I gotta go through this with this wife, oh, I gotta go through that with that wife, oh, I gotta go through that with that. I wasn't looking at it like that. I'm looking at it like, oh, okay, well you got to get more good out of this than the bad, than the negative. Because
Right. What's the point of doing it?
Not only that, it's like you got more. Depends on how many wives you got. You got let's say about 10. You have.
No.
That's the number that was imprinted in my head. I ain't gonna lie to you. You have so many multiple ones to go through that you know what I mean. That you like can't really. I can't really think about it bad, because it's like,
I can think about it bad.
Too.
you can, but when you're like.
So you're saying the more you have, there's more assets you have. Basically, you got the different personalities, you got the different interests that you can actually get into without having to go outside of your
Harem.
Yeah,
that's what that is, a harem.
Because it's like you're going through different, like you're spending time with each one, but you're not. It's like
you like variety. That's it's good.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want this big old spoon of peanut butter, or whatever, or do you want a spoon and then spread it?
10 small
spread it out?
spoons
Or do
as
you wanna
opposed
just
to
take
one
that
small,
spoon?
one big
Yeah.
spoon.
Do you want to take that spoon like it's spreading? It's like it's helping.
Okay, so let's look at it this way. All right, so you do have multiple people. Here's the thing. I look at it where the benefit would be, or could be, is financial. Let's say if a man or woman, either polygyny, polyandry, or polyamory, right? If everybody's working, you have more
higher income
coming in. So you got shared responsibilities, you got shared financial responsibilities, you got the skills. If if this was, let's say, polyamory, where all of us was here together, you cook, like lamb chop cooks, Felonious wines, and
Oh my God.
you're good at home improvement, and I'm good at interior design.
Definitely nothing.
Good at cracking jokes.
So you have all those skills that you can that could save the household a lot of money.
Yeah,
right?
higher
And
income.
That's a good way to look at it.
That's also
So also, what about the children? Now, this is the thing. Like when you have let's say polygyny, even if you took a single mother, you took two single mothers, let's say three single mothers, right? That they're on their own. Now you have the multiple incomes, right? You also have the situation where the children didn't have that father figure in their home. Now you do.
Okay.
You also have multiple women with different personalities, or you got three moms. And I can say this, I am biased again. I love mothers are the greatest. My mother's the greatest. That's how I feel. So if you have, just imagine you've had three nurturing souls, whatever, with different skills, different personalities, right?
Okay.
So those are the benefits. Again, goes
and
back
then companionship,
exactly.
And then sexual benefits.
The sexual benefit. Well, you know what? I don't.
It's but just looking at why are you going? On
So
that
let me tell you about this. This is the thing. Everybody's going to say this. But look at it this way, right? So, and I'm gonna let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Be honest.
Let me be honest. For a man, it is difficult enough to satisfy one woman, right? Then you have three. So as a man, I don't see that the man might like the fact that you got three different types of people and three different bodies and three different whatever, you know. So that's cool. But you're not, it's like how a lot of people say, oh, they just doing, group sex orgies. And no, you still have to meet this person's needs. You have to meet this person's needs. You have to meet this person's needs.
That's where it gets complicated.
That's where it gets complicated and difficult. So, it could be a plus, but there's a lot of big minuses in there too, right?
Well, people don't think that deep, so.
The responsible
You have to.
ones do.
Yeah, you would have to if you go and get in that situation.
Yeah. Even in monogamous relationships, you have to think about that. Like when you go into a relationship, you said last time that you needed to test drive the car.
Yeah.
To see if it was something that you want, if it ride right. You missed that. She was like, I had to test drive the car to make sure it rides. So you have that, but also the benefits is like, and this is where I go back to society. This is what I was going to say. So when I was growing up, most of the people in our neighborhood didn't have a father in the household.
Okay.
Right. It was mostly single mothers. And I think we had two fathers in the households out of this. I don't know how many. It was like 100, 150, places, right? So now you have a situation where you do have that father figure in there. You have somebody there in the household that can keep an eye on the children as they're growing up. You didn't have the latchkey thing. If you look at all the problems we have now, like the crime, the gang violence, all this type of stuff, they got into that stuff mainly because they was unsupervised or not properly supervised, right? Going out here doing it. Now imagine if you had a responsible adult in the household. So let's say that one kid needed to go here. Okay, they got supervision. If everybody else is working, let's three of us is working, you have one in the household, there's somebody in the household. There's no excuses like why you couldn't get in the house or why you needed to be over Johnny's house or Linda's house or whatever. You had eyes on you. You had many eyes. And it was a little bit different when you had a community where the eyes,
the neighbors looked out for you.
Exactly. We don't have that anymore.
No, we don't have that anymore.
So when you have that polygamous situation, you have that, if done right. Anything that you do, if it's not done right or planned properly or whatever, it's not going to turn out right.
It sounds like a lot of planning.
It is a lot of planning, but it's no different from how monogamous things should work too, We always say that, all right, this is the one that most women say why it can't work because of jealousy, right?
You got 3 women with 3 different personalities in one house. There is going to be some issues.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't get around that.
But guess what? Every man, if there's 100 men out there, you could call in.
Forget.
443-860-2716. You tell me a man out there that was in a relationship where a single monogamous relationship where there was no jealousy.
See, so basically,
but that's different.
Right.
though.
That's no different. Jealousy is jealousy.
Jealousy is jealousy, but jealousy is different when it's 3 people at the same time.
Forget jealousy, yeah. So let's say like women, when you're getting a period, sometimes you're like,
but they're gonna sync up, so everybody gonna be on that period at the same time.
Sometimes you cannot even, so a man cannot even deal with one woman at a time when she's like emotional and going through all that. Imagine having 3 of them or whatever multiple
at the same time.
So it's the same. You still got to deal with that situation. If you got 3 versus 1, you still got to deal with that situation.
Yeah, but
I just feel like it's harder than you think it is.
No, it's like it's all in his head.
You have to plan. You have to be organized.
You should really practice this so we see how far.
If you're in your cycle and she's on her cycle and she's on her cycle,
because he has a lot of theory. You know what I'm saying? So I want to
and
actually,
no practice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I actually want to see you do it and see how.
All you gotta do is lock them up in the room when they get it that way. That's all you do. That's proper planning. Lock them in the room.
Or lock you up in the room because it's 3 against 1.
You know what's going to prevent those problems for the 3 different personalities? Money.
No,
it's not even about money. No,
Money.
Women, no.
I think it'll help.
Money always helps.
But it ain't gonna prevent.
It ain't gonna prevent. Yeah,
because look, you giving her more money than me, or this
took her
person
out last week.
Yeah.
Well,
always
it's my turn.
Have assumptions and
There's
stuff.
always jealousy
Right.
is inevitable, so it's something that would happen. So
Okay.
So that's something you have to deal with.
And let's talk about the children. Seriously,
Okay.
like how they're brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So they are brothers and sisters. So who is mommy and who is the child going to listen to? Am I listening to all of these mommies?
Exactly.
So
Or am I
That's a
getting
good point.
direction from one mommy?
So typically, this is how it works, and I got this from the people who actually were in polygamous families, right? Whether they were a child or whatever. So you're at this point where you have 3 mommies.
Right.
They're all mommy, and it's like a military. You take even if now, like at your job, you have different supervisors. Who you gonna listen to?
Right.
You listen to the person who gave you the command or the order last. But if you have your child, you still have that. However, if you wanted to raise your child, you're gonna have. If you want to tell them to do X, Y, and Z, that's still your child, right? The other ones are secondary. They're like the aunts, basically, but they're like aunts.
Okay.
And what it was explained to me is that, okay, you're going to have disputes. You're going to have disputes anyway, whether it be mother and daughter, father and son, whatever. But in the household, that husband, that man is supposed to mediate and regulate all those things. And that's what needs to be done. So let's say you might tell your child something, you might tell your child something, and it might, cross. But guess what? It comes to the father who says, this is the law. And he might take yours and might take yours.
How about favoritism?
You always gonna have favoritism.
Exactly.
The thing is, you're gonna have favoritism, but the key is you have to put some work into it, and you have to make sure that
everybody's on the
treated
same page
fairly.
Yeah,
and exactly. Everybody needs to know certain things. So even when we talk about the love languages, right? That makes a difference. Knowing each person's love language, because you can't just treat people the same. I don't want to be treated the same as my brother, because we're different people, right? So we're gonna go to the we're gonna go to the Facebook comments, and let's see. Do you agree with the poly lifestyle? Actually, on Facebook, we didn't get a lot of them on there. We didn't. So let's go to. We do have a WhatsApp group. And I think that's where most people called in. And let's go to that. I think on the Facebook, people just basically
did yes or no.
No, they just like.
Okay, okay.
But on the group, let's see, hot topics, and you guys know it's HOTTOPIX. Okay, so if you ever want to look us up, you can look us up on the social media.
Spotify, Instagram, Facebook,
Yes.
Who did I leave out? Apple
Podcasts. Okay. So, what? Was she trying to escape? We're gonna go to WhatsApp and let's see if we can. What am I doing wrong?
Being special as usual.
Oh, here it is. Do you agree with the poly lifestyle? Okay. So let's go to. All right. We got quite a few. So one person says, this is Angie. She says, I don't agree. And for one man, one woman. Okay. And just for the background, she's from Zambia,
okay,
in Africa. And I asked her why not. She says, because poly doesn't consider feelings. There's abandonment of other parties. And there's also diseases such as STIs.
Yeah, I had that in the back of my mind. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I had that in the back of my mind.
And going with what she said, but that's an important thing too, because you have to make sure that your group is trustworthy, and you have to let them know that, you're looking out for not just you, but everybody else.
Right. So you're responsible for making sure nobody else gets an STI.
Bingo. Because you're not going, if you have a closed circle, you're not inviting all that stuff into your circle.
Right.
So that was a good thing she brought up.
So is everybody getting tested? Like, how is that happening?
So I
have so many questions.
So I think the prudent thing to do is, if you're going to get in that, obviously you wouldn't want to test anybody else coming in.
Right.
And you should get tested anyway, annually, regardless.
Right.
But that way everybody gets a clean bill of health, because you're not just affecting you, you're affecting everybody, right? You can read that's easy. That's standard in the standard manual.
That's in your contract.
So it says, let's see, yes, and that's why I don't support it, because it doesn't respect individual rights. Okay, that's something different. But I think in that aspect, I think she's looking at more or less where the women are kind of subservient or super submissive, where
Well, it kind of feels like they are.
But she's looking at polygyny. But this still goes with polyandry also, right? But it's not being that's a whole different topic. We're talking about being submissive, and what's your definition of submissive? That's a big argument.
Well, we'll add it to the list.
That's a big argument.
We shall add it to the list.
So Elizabeth said, and she's from Africa also, so you'll see the trend. Like, yes, I agree to it, but it doesn't surpass monogamy. So she agrees to it, but she would prefer monogamy.
Right.
She says, too many feelings and emotions involved in poly. It's just natural that a man will always prefer one woman over another, which includes distribution of time, feelings, resources, attention, among others, realistically. So she's saying that.
Right? I agree.
I agree, but I think there's ways that you can remedy that. Like, we won't go just for the sake of time. All right, so she does say monogamy is more desirable, and we have for her.
Liz, you know who I am. Nobody knows monogamy better than me. Nobody.
Oh my God! I thought we agreed not to do that.
So would I have been divorced a few times and cheat on all my wives? But check out the Hot Topics podcast.
I really thought we were over that.
We got a plug. We always got to get our plug. We got our loyal customers. So we have, let's see, so we have, we'll see Petro. So I don't want to say a whole name.
Yeah.
Hey, as for me, I don't agree. I can't be in a polygamy. She can't be in polygamy because I've gotten too much jealous over what's mine. Mm-hmm. So jealousy was a factor, right?
Yeah. She put it out there.
And and I also wanted to say, they're looking at polygyny, not so much polyandry.
Okay.
So they always think that, and that's the thing, because polygyny is the most common.
Right. That's the one people are more familiar with.
Right. So Kathy says, well, I don't agree with a poly relationship, and this is her reasons. I love being loved alone. She's in fear of a community husband, right?
Because that's what he is.
And guess what?
What? She
can have a home husband and still have a community husband.
Facts.
The only difference is
she would know about it.
And resources are going outside the house instead of inside the house. And in her part, she says witchcraft is common in the poly setup. in Africa. Witchcraft. They if you have one wife and let's say you have 3 wives and they want the husband to like them more, they would try to use some type of witchcraft. Yeah. Or they might cast a spell on the other wife to make him not like
want her.
So that's the concern that some have.
Okay.
Unbalanced love and attention are among her reasons. Okay.
Yeah. Because there's no way that you can be
equal.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be equal.
You're
not supposed to be equal.
Like somebody's going to get more than the other person, and it's going to be an issue.
But you're not supposed to be equal.
But
and that's something that.
But that if you're not equal, it should be like it's just like for your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like you love them equal. You should love your kids equally.
You can love somebody equally, but the thing is, I said earlier, you treat them fairly, which is different. I don't care. That's for me. I don't care if somebody loves me equally or whatever. Just make fair. I'm not the same as the other guy.
Right.
So we're it's going to happen. Like you're always going to have something that's not going to be considered equal because we're not equal people. So she says, I can't be in a relationship because I am so jealous. Again, maybe we will be of different community and we don't come along well. So she's saying if you're from some other area, some other culture, y'all don't get along well.
Okay.
And she says,
she's jealous.
And she's jealous. Mm-hmm. And she says, I love being loved alone.
Exactly.
But do you really ever get loved alone?
Well, in my presence, I don't care.
Okay, so that was something that actually was a topic that somebody brought up. They said they didn't want the polygamy, but if my husband wanted to have other women, she was okay with it, long as you don't bring it up in my face. I don't want to know about it. And I was like, I didn't like that thing, but it was quite a few people that said that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, this one was for it. She says yes, she's for it if the man can comfortably provide.
Okay.
So she's not trying to be in a polygamous relationship or
broke
marriage.
with no broke man. Yeah. What's the point?
And then let's see. And I did a follow-up question. So if you were in different places or towns, does that change your view? The one that said from different cultures. She was like, nah, she don't think so about that either. And then here's the one that says yes. This is new. I'm not sure where she's from. Let's see. I think South Africa. Yes, I fully agree with polygamy as long as women have the same heart and true passion for it, as it will include 3 personalities to understand. Moreover, there shouldn't be any envy and jealousy towards each other. So she says, as long as you guys can live harmoniously.
Right.
Right. And that could happen too. But, people think that, that nobody's going to get along, or you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems anyway. There's not one household in this country, or I think the world, unless you have like a domineering, authority figure that's going to no, there's going to be no. But you're going to have problems.
But then you're not going to be happy if you're in that kind of situation. You're not going to be happy.
So this one says...
Okay, so you keep saying, there are going to be problems. There's going to be this. So
right.
Why? Why do this if those things are going to happen, or you're predicting that these things can happen?
Human nature, right? We're not perfect beings, obviously, right? You and I have been friends for a long time. Right? So even during our friendship, we've had disagreements.
Agree.
We never had any big disagreements, but we've had disagreements. That's natural.
Right.
That's going to happen. In your household, there's disagreements. In your household, there's disagreements. My household, you can't get away from that.
Right.
Except if you have that type of situation where one person says, this is it, shut up, sit down, this is the rules.
That's
right?
Jail. That's
exactly. But it's going to be, that's a common thing that you're not going to get around that. I don't care what type of situation you have.
Okay.
So
you just have it times 3 or 4 now.
But you know what? Also, you
might not have it all at the same time.
Bingo.
Either.
But what I looked at too is, going back to my own relationship, right? My past relationships, is I always thought am I being fair? Am I being overly sensitive? Or am I, whatever? So now sometimes I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear what your grievances are because I'm mad and I think you're at fault. But now you got somebody who's not in that can say, you know what? I think you was wrong. You should have, and this is, so you got somebody who can mediate who's not really involved with the dispute.
What you mean, another wife?
Another wife or husband, however.
Or
right.
how about this? How about I'm happy that you guys have a dispute and it's my
Right, and
it's my
now
time- it's my
I'm
time.
I'm wife number one
Yeah.
now because he's mad at her.
Yes, it could go that way too, but I'm saying that's a benefit and a downfall. But then she says, this is Francisca. She's from Namibia. She says, I don't agree with polygamy, but it is what it is. Okay. And then let's see. I said why. I asked her why. She said not good health wise in today's world. Okay, and people agree with her. Then Rebecca from Uganda says, now mind you, why we have all these African responses, because I actually sent it out and they're more open to it. They've seen it, whether it be their parents, grandparents, whatever.
Okay.
Where other people just, no.
And the United States is just not used to it
Bingo.
unless you're in Utah.
Rebecca says, I agree if there is honesty and transparency, which is important. That's
right.
important
It
in
is
any
important.
in any relationship. So
I don't know. It feels to me too much work. It
yeah,
really does.
It is work. It is work.
It feels like
but
too much
I think,
work.
me personally, I think the benefits outweigh the negatives, and any relationship you're gonna have to put work in. So if you don't want to put work in, then stay single. That's really easy as it gets, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
that's true. You're gonna have to put some work in somewhere.
Right. So then we can all agree that we are for polygamy. All right. So
That's why you had to move on so
right,
fast. That's why you had
right.
to move on so fast.
Yes,
So,
yes. He'll drop that and just go. No, sir, no.
now
So,
you made that opinion worse. Like, do I? She was like, maybe. Well, as long but now she's at the end of the program. She's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's definitely not for me. If somebody else wants to do it, go for it. But no, it's not for me. Like I said, that's too much work. It really is.
I think. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I think this is when we talk about fairness, right? Now, this is going to piss some people off, but guess what?
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. So, if you allow gay marriage, right? You're going to say a man and a man can marry and a woman and a woman can marry. Then why shouldn't polygamy be legal? Because one, polygamy is probably the oldest form of marriage, right? Two, it has traditional roots, and it also has religious roots, right? Okay. Cultural roots.
Okay.
So it's you got roots all over the place, all up the yin yang, right? But you'll say, well, we don't want polygamy to be legal, but we'll let
you should be able to marry who you want to marry.
Okay, so
I
then
agree with
then you ask
marry.
why don't the government allow polygamy? And only thing I can think of, because it's based on religious beliefs, or somebody's religious doctrine says one man, one woman.
Right.
And in this country, that's not fair.
Right. Well, are we going to talk about what's not fair in this country?
Well, yeah,
we'll be here all night and
but
day.
I think the argument could be made that
polygamy should be legalized.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Because it has more of a standing than the other one.
Gotcha.
And if you're saying it is not, it's only because of your religion. It's supposed to be
What's the other one?
Gay marriage.
Oh,
gay
yeah,
marriage.
okay.
Yeah. So if you're saying it's not, is only because of your religious background.
Well, that's why they didn't want gay marriage, because of religious reasons.
Exactly. So if they took that out, then they should
allow polygamy.
Absolutely. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can all agree on that. So I know it's been a long topic, but
yes, it has.
It's an interesting topic. So
very much.
If any of you guys out there want to follow up and add a comment or want to criticize Felonious for what she said.
Oh no!
Oh, it's
Or
criticize me? No,
criticize
you.
you.
Mostly
You,
you.
yeah,
you.
Or if you want to criticize Lamb Chop for her nonsense,
It's you. It's all
So,
you. It's all you.
you can email us at hottopicspodcast@gmail.com, and that's HOTTOPIX podcast. And I hope I don't have to spell
X
that for
as
you.
in xylophone.
At gmail.com. And by the way, she just learned that word, xylophone.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with
So
you?
then you can also go to our website. We have it's www.hottopicspodcast, and again, it's with an X, not a CS. Hottopicspodcast.com. And what was the other one? Email. Oh,
Number.
the number
That you
All
always
right,
forget.
And you can send us a message on the phone, whether it be from WhatsApp or regular text or call in, and that's 443-860-2716.
Hallelujah. I hope that's correct. You need to confirm.
It is correct. It is
Okay.
correct. And if it's not, like I say, if somebody answers that phone, just go ahead and hang up. Okay? That's not you dialed the wrong number. But yeah. So again, you can catch our podcast on a number of platforms, including Spotify, Apple
Podcasts.
All of the other
Amazon.
ones. Amazon Music. That's right. Amazon Music. Deezer. A whole bunch of stuff. So you can see your favorite podcast if you go to our website. So if you go to the website, you'll see all of them on that first page, and you can, click your favorite podcast, Spreaker, which is a platform that we're actually recording on. So, anything else? Anything you want to add in? Any of your nonsense?
No, we don't have any shenanigans, foolishness, and nonsense tonight.
So one of the things we wanted to do, we still wanted to give out the prize for listening, and we're working on that. So my idea, if you have an idea, we're always welcome for anything you want to suggest. We're open for topics. Mm-hmm. She said chicken, give away chicken.
Oh my goodness.
We're open to any of the things that you guys want to talk about. I got a whole bunch of ideas from people from Facebook. So we'll probably try to start with the question of the day, and then parlay that into this full discussion.
You got it.
Okay. So
thank you for always joining us, as always.
Yes, thank you.
We will have on our next episode. We'll try to get that prize out there. We're working on something. We'll give away some great prizes. We'll give away some great prizes, and we're trying to expand. So please share, invite friends. Share, invite
comments.
Friends.
Let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and if you want to be a guest speaker, also let us know that. We'll be glad to
accommodate you
and plug you in through the phone. You could be anywhere
in the world.
Exactly. I think we're cut off from Russia though.
Oh, really?
Are you really upset about that?
I like Russian people.
Okay. Right.
They said my name's part Russian, so there you go.
There you go.
Well, yeah. So
there you go.
Vladimir. Is that your name?
Huh?
Vladimir.
Demetri.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you. Ta-ta.